Hardies and Hallmarkies. We are here with another episode to review of When Calls the Heart. This is Hallmarkies podcast. When Calls the Hallmarkies, heart to heart. Yes, that is a mouthful, but we love it because we are the Hardies group. I am the Happy Hardy. I am Kaycee, aka Hallmark My Words on Twitter. And here I also have Caroline.
Ooh, you can see me today.
She is the hopeful Hardy.
Yes.
And she is extremely hopeful after this episode because we all know she is Team Lucas with a capital L.
And Team Kevin in real life. There you go.
We also love Kevin and Gary, as does she.
Yeah.
And we also have here our hooked Hardy, the one and only Cammie.
Hello! With my signature red heart necklace.
So, guys, this has been quite a journey. And then we're over the hump of like the halfway mark now, huh?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
How would you describe this season?
You first, Caroline.
Like, it's like a whole different dynamic of the show, I think, like between like 1 through 5, of course, about Elizabeth and Jack, but like 6 and 7 is more about like Elizabeth's growth, I think. And I like that. I like seeing her grow as a mom, as a character, you know, and stuff like that. And I like the new dynamic, and I like the season as a whole. Like, it's nice seeing Elizabeth as a mom, but like these two guys are like vying for her attention. I just think I like the dynamic.
What about you, Cammie?
If I had to pick one word, I would say racy, but not in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got just things keep upping themselves, and Lucas and Nathan are both trying. Yeah, they're going for the gold, which is Elizabeth's heart. And one thing I will say is I do have to say I feel sorry for Nathan, because I'm looking back at my notes, and it really seems like every time he tries something, Lucas has already beaten him to the punch, or he's hot on his tail. You know, just like the poor guy. You know, can he do something without this shadow, or without the being kicked in the face with dust? You know, it's just yeah, I would say, if I were to describe this season alone, because season 6 was very much a transition season.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of it was, in a way, it was kind of a rebirth, but I almost think that season 7 is more of the rebirth, because it's the brand new season where everybody's really established. But yeah, I would say racy, but in a good way.
It's an interesting way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Racy.
They're running a race. They're running a race.
Okay, race. Okay, I can see that now.
Right,
okay.
I get it now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's got a double meaning. Come on, guys.
I would say, for me, this season has been a roller coaster. So much more so. It's kind of like, you know, you're feeling up, you're feeling happy, you're going down, you're about to cry. And then all of a sudden, just as your tears are about to form, you just start laughing because somebody does something, and it's like comedic levity. And, you know, so for me, this whole season as a whole, including all the characters, all the side characters, side stories, main stories, it has just been a roller coaster of emotions. And I don't know how my heart is handling this right now. I don't even know, like, next week and the week after and such. So we will see.
Because it's real life. I mean, that, when you think about it, so many times you're sobbing, and then someone says something to try to make you feel better, and you start laughing through your tears. Or you get embarrassed and you start laughing through your tears. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's real life. So
yeah, it's true.
We're experiencing these emotions because they're so close to real life. The emotions are.
And these characters, we followed them for so long. Like, we feel like we, you know, like, know their, you know, life basically. Mm-hmm. And so we feel invested. And so whenever they like Claire and Jesse's wedding. We were happy for them. Seeing Rosemary and Lise suffer through their marriage and like for having a child, we feel that. So it's just all the feels for this season.
All the feels, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of this episode, let's dive in. So we're going to do things a little bit differently because there's one main storyline that we all want to know and we all want to talk about. It's the duck. No, I'm just kidding. It's not the little stuffed duck.
It's the duck.
It's the triangle. But before we get to that, we are going to talk first about our favorite newlyweds, Claire and Jesse. How did you guys feel about their little storyline about Jesse putting kind of Clara in her home on a pedestal and not wanting to bring his shoes in and wanting to sell all his old things, I don't know.
I thought it was so sweet, like so Jesse, like not wanting to like mess something up, like of Clara, like putting her first. And I just thought it was so cute how she went out and got everything for him and surprised him and stuff. I just thought it was so cute. And when they came back from their honeymoon and he carried her in, I'm like, that's what we wanted with Jack and Elizabeth. But it was so cute.
This is a very, very small thing, but one thing that I really, really liked was how they changed the dynamic between the two of them. When they kissed after he carried her across the threshold, it was a married people kiss.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. That is the first thing I noticed. I was like,
oh, good. Yeah, it was not the sweet, cute stuff that they had been doing while they were dating and while they were engaged. And like, you can tell that these two people are newlyweds and they've been married.
That's true.
So I really liked that changed, because when the characters stay stagnant even after they're married, it's boring. And but it's also very, very small. And so the fact that it did change and they just made that little tweak, it shows that they are into the details. It shows that they're very good actors and that they cared enough about it in the character's growth. And it stands to reason that Jesse would do all that because of his past. He's walking on eggshells even in his own marriage because he's messed up so many times before that he doesn't want to mess this up, which is so sweet but so sad at the same time, that he's having trouble moving on. And I was so glad. I was so glad that Clara stepped up and wouldn't let him, because there are a lot of wives that would have just said, okay, whatever.
More stuff for me.
Yeah. Or just, you don't want it? Okay. But she stuck to it, and she really, she went behind his back, but oh well, he went behind hers. So,
That's so funny. So on that note about the married thing, I did catch when they got off the stage and Rosemary was like, did you see any actors? And they were like, no, we were too busy.
No. She said we weren't looking for any.
Okay,
so
sorry.
But
still, it was still the same look that they gave each other, and they were still like,
like, oh, yeah.
The interpretation was what I said. The actual words are what Cammie said.
Yeah, the actual words.
But the face of Clara and Jesse were like very much, they're married now. So
yeah, they just got back from their honeymoon look.
So it was just a little surprising, I guess, because they had been so chaste, I guess is the word for it. I'm very
that's
innocent,
a good word, yeah.
And very datey-ish. Even if you compare Elizabeth and Jack dating to Clara and Jesse dating, and even Rosemary and Lee dating, Jack and Elizabeth were like, woof! Whereas the other two couples were very much innocent and chaste, and then all of a sudden they get married and it's like, holla. So I mean, It's true, but it shows like the growth of the characters, and it shows the excellent acting skills of Aaron and Claire or Eva. And I don't think we've seen that growth in them as actors or as in, as characters either. So I thought that was kind of fun and exciting to see. Like they're definitely up their game as a married couple. Like there's a definite difference.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see them like grow as like a married couple even more in these last couple episodes. It'll be fun to see.
I know, it was just the first episode seeing them as a married couple. So what's it gonna be like as time goes on? It's gonna be fun to watch.
So this is like super random, but I want Jesse to bring home a random dog.
Oh,
to parent.
gosh.
No, it could be like comic relief because we don't have Rip anymore, and I feel like that'd be so funny. Like, like
we don't have Dasher anymore.
Well, we don't have Dasher anymore either. We need a dog.
Kitty cat. We need a little kitty cat.
Or cat.
No cat.
Some kind of pet where he can just be like, Claire, we have something that I need to tell you. So we have a dog. And it'd be like this cute little like banter thing, and it's like preparing them to be parents because pets are great parent training things. You're up with the pet. Like when my dog was a puppy, it was up every 2 hours. It was worse than a baby because it just cried for 8 hours straight in the middle of the night. It was the worst thing ever. But once I got over that, I was like, oh, baby, we're good. Anyways, I think a pet would be fun before a child.
I think it would be. And seeing a little Jack visit the puppy would be cute too.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who would just like to see them married for a little bit, just to let them enjoy each other?
Yeah, I agree with you. But
is that okay?
With a puppy.
With a puppy.
A puppy. A Christmas puppy. Okay.
Oh, goodness.
Enough on Clara and Jesse, because I'm sure there's more to come with them in the upcoming episodes. So let's talk about Rosemary and Lee. So they've taken over.
Babysitters galore.
They have taken little Jack for the evening so Elizabeth can go on her little trip and her little date with Lucas. And they her date engagement, whatever you would like to call it.
Her engagement thing.
Her engagement thing.
Rosemary and Lee are now taking care of little Jack. What did you guys think of Rosemary and Lee as parental figures to little Jack in those 24 hours that we saw them?
I died laughing when Elizabeth and Lucas drove off, and it's like, why was she so nervous? Like, we've watched him before. I'm like, you haven't watched him at night. And it just made me laugh that they felt they could handle it, and like they lost dog, and I just thought that was so funny. And poor Duck didn't stand a chance.
Poor Duck.
Can we talk about the Stuffy's name? Dog?
Mm-hmm.
Dog
like not
and Duck.
Puppy or like, puppy or
if you heard him in the episode, like, I thought he was saying mommy, but he was saying puppy. Like,
yeah, I think there was one point when they're walking on the boardwalk that he said puppy.
Yeah. Like, and Aaron did say that they kept calling it puppy. Like the boys called during filming, we're calling it puppy.
I just think it was so funny. Have you seen Dog?
Dog.
Like dog as in like not the dog, but dog.
Dog.
Yeah, just dog.
Dog. Just dog. Like a proper noun.
Well, and one thing that I thought is Rosemary and Lee were a little quick to assume that Jack didn't like the duck. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, that's totally a game that toddlers play. They throw it down. Yeah. They want you to pick it back up. Just because he threw it down does not mean he didn't like it. They were a little quick to assume that.
He was so cute. Like, he was like, duck.
I know. He went,
threw it.
Duck. That was precious. I'm seriously wondering how they got half of these shots with the Taylor twins. Just how many takes did that take you? Oh my gosh, Rosie holding the 2-piece phone that you're supposed to hold like this, trying to hold it with one hand, and she got Jack in the other, and he's crying. I just like, oh yeah, girl, oh yeah.
and Ned and Florence's face when they heard little Jack crying in the background, they're like, sorry, your problem, not ours.
Oh man, I thought that was so funny with them like being so quick to like, oh yeah, it's gonna be such a breeze. I'm like, I also have to wonder with the duck scene if being a parent, because Kevin has 2 kids and Pascal has 2 kids, if being a parent helps with the whole like goofy antics, because
totally,
for the most part, as a parent now, it doesn't matter if you're talking like a baby in front of grown adults, because you're just like, it's fine, I have kids that are small, like, quack, 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 quack. Like, acting super ridiculous, and kids pick up on that, like, you know, they pick up on those vibes. So I feel like that might have been very helpful to them in that.
Totally, yeah.
I follow Peter DeLuise on Twitter. Like, he was the director for this episode, and he said like Kevin and Pascal were pros with Lincoln and Gunnar, like during filming and stuff. They said that they filmed their reactions first and then changed the other part of the scene to how they were reacting. So
that's like, perfect. Yeah.
Like, so with the duck,
the kids first.
With the duck, that was like genuine reaction from the boys. Like, and then they filmed the other part. Yeah.
Then they that makes total sense, because
and it's brilliant too.
Yeah, because it was like the perfect reaction, and like you see baby Jack's mouth moving and stuff, so you know it's not like some fake voice or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's very insane.
They were really excited about that duck, and then bam, just threw it on the ground.
Okay, so I have
sorry, can I just say one thing really fast? So her whole, you like broccoli, I think.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, she's not so sure about her charge that she was so certain about, and she was this close to giving him a cookie before Lee went in with the duck. I just went,
and the peas. Like, you like peas. Mommy said you like peas.
Mommy said you like peas.
Yeah.
And one thing is, you know, Rosemary's hemming and hawing and like, we lost dog. And Elizabeth says, oh, well, I'm sure he'll show up.
And they're like, what?
No big deal, fine. You know, and then he's under the couch cushion. Like, of course. I'm just so glad that they could laugh at themselves, because if that had been me
I would have cried.
Slept all night, I would have gone, and thrown it at the wall or something. So I'm so glad that they could laugh at themselves. Yes. Especially after the daggers look, when go find dog. Okay,
yeah,
I'm going.
I'll retrace my steps.
And so, when he finally got calmed down because of the typewriter, I thought that was so cute.
Oh my gosh, that was precious. I don't know what noise they made in the background to get him to have that reaction, but that was golden. That was golden. And just, hey, Carson, keep typing. Okay. You know, and then my hand is no, Lee, keep. Of course, Rosemary won't take a turn typing. No, Lee, keep typing. My hand is cramping, and then the knock at the door. Come in, please.
Yeah.
You know? Save
and
me.
all the paper spread all over.
And Elizabeth looking down like, something happened here.
What's
like,
going on?
Yeah.
Upon seeing all the papers all over, my first thought was, well, good thing Lee runs a lumber company, since, you know, paper comes from trees, so he can come, you know, recycle, reuse lumber. It was a ton of paper.
It was a lot of paper.
It was like a ton of wasted paper.
I forgot to look. I was so busy looking at the kids that at Jack and Lee's hand cramping that I totally forgot to look at the floor. So I'll take your word.
It was that was what because they pan out and you see all this paper and Lee's, at the thing. And that just made me laugh because I was like, okay, first of all, how long had he been typing? Because there's like a bunch of paper all over, not
that's
just
what I
like
thought too.
And it
2
would have to be
pages.
full. They would have
Yeah.
filled it. So yeah. Oh
And
man. I totally forgot. I totally forgot to look at the floor.
She was like looking like, what's going on? Like
Yeah,
something
she kind of had
happened.
that thing like, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna ask.
Mm-hmm. He's like, I owe you or something like that.
So have you guys, or have your parents, or have you, like, well, Cammie, as a parent, have you guys ever forgotten, lost a stuffed toy animal for your kids, or your parents forgot one for yourself? Is there a story that you guys have had?
We were at the beach in like South Carolina, like it's hurricane season, and like a hurricane, like tropical storm was coming to the beach that we, to the coast, and like my grandma was calling my mom saying, come home now, my grandbabies can't be at the beach, like not even worried about my mom and my dad, just worried about us. And my mom left my Barney doll like at the hotel, and like my mom's like, it's her Barney, like we left her Barney, but they found it and they mailed it to us. But I was without Barney for like a week. I was really sad.
Oh, sadness.
It was like I had to sleep with Barney, like have to. But I made it.
Barney was your dog.
Yeah. And I
also
survived. And I also had a baby doll. Guess what her name was? Baby doll. Oh. So I had baby doll too, so it wasn't that big of a deal, but still, when you lose a toy, it's sad. I was 2.
My daughter has a stuffed pig, and we forgot it once at my parents' house, which we live fairly close to them, but overnight, where we didn't want to drive all the way over there and go get it. And she was very attached to Piggy. It was like screaming murder. Hey, for like hours. It's like, do you want, like, what about this stuffed animal? What about this one? What about this one? And she was not having it. I was like, I called my mom the next morning. I was like, we have to get that pig back. It was the worst.
Oh my gosh. For me, my grandpa, he saw me react every time, that Snuggle bear, the Snuggle laundry fabric softener. Yeah, apparently when I was a year old, I would see that bear on television and I go, oh, it's so cute. And so he bought me a white bear, and I called her Snuggles. And then I lost her for months. And I was it was when I was older. I was about 7 or 8. And so I was okay, but I lost Snuggles.
No.
And it was, this bear had been through, I got surgery on my left foot when I was 7, and that bear went through the surgery with me. I kept her with me, and they even took extra plaster and put a cast on her left leg, the same leg that I had my surgery on. So, this bear meant a lot to me, and I lost her and I couldn't find her. And months later, found her under my bed.
Oh.
So, yeah. And now my children have her. She's their toy now. As for my kids, I can't remember which toy it was, but it was one specific toy, and my daughter, she could not go to sleep, and it was downstairs, and it was already an hour past her bedtime and everything. I said, don't worry, he'll sleep downstairs. He's nice and cozy. Look at all the other animals that you have. You'll be just fine. It actually worked, which I'm shocked it did, but
parenting win.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's totally happened. But I was too lazy to go downstairs because it was just it was late, and we had been battling with the kids, and it was like, just go to sleep. This was years ago. But
yeah. That's so funny. Alrighty. So really quick, let's talk about Gowan and Lucas. There's some kind
Oh
of
my gosh.
cash flow issue. Hickam used to do the books, but no longer does. All right. Let's level here with the friends, the audience. Do we think that Gowan's being a little sketchy again, or is he just like losing business, or is he cheating on people? Like, what is
I think
going
it's
on?
Is he pulling a Mr. Jenkins?
Is
I think-
Is he pulling a Mr. Jenkins?
I think
Milo Chandel, what did you share with Martin? You know,
I think he's losing business, and like that's why he's having indigestion. But that's just
I
my.
think
Yeah,
I think
good
so
point.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be, but you know, I have no idea. What, because Henry has always been so under the radar, so sneaky. Even when he was being a good person, he still goes totally under the radar and just, you know, weaves in and out and doesn't make his actions known. He's a very private person. And I mean, the man couldn't even get out the words to ask Abigail to dance. He just said goodnight.
And I think it's just like pride. Like that's why he didn't want Hickam to see the numbers anymore. I think it's just like pride. Like I don't want him to know that we're having trouble. So I'll do the numbers and I just won't tell anybody.
Yeah, but there's something fishy. There's something fishy happening. If it turns out to just be something as simple as he's losing business, I won't scream about it, but you know, it just, the way he's acting, it acts like it's more than just losing business. He's acting fishy. And you know, especially, and Carson could sense it, especially when Carson turns around like, oh, apparently you're a shrink as well as a medical doctor. You know, like, my door's always open. You can talk to me about anything. It's like, oh boy, Carson's putting on his shrink hat. You know?
And indigestion a lot of times comes from nerves too. So
completely.
So
trust me, I've had it.
Yes, me too.
I hope it doesn't last for the rest of the season. I hope it like settled like next episode.
I don't know. I'm torn because it could be interesting. It could be interesting to see what's happening and kind of keep the intrigue going a little bit. I don't know.
I can't handle bad Gowan anymore. Like, just let him stay. Just let him stay. Good.
Yeah.
Somewhat good.
Do we want another resident bad guy?
I think we're due for another bad guy besides
because
Gowan.
like, okay, so we obviously had Gowan in the first several seasons with the mine thing or whatever. We had the railroad dude, what's his face?
Ray Wyatt.
Ray Wyatt. He was a complete jerk. We've had back to Henry Gowan, and you know, I feel like we're due
in season two. We wondered if Bill was a bad guy. You know, we were going back and forth. Is he a good guy or a bad guy?
Yeah, I feel like it would be fun to have like a crossover bad guy from When Hope Calls and When Calls the Heart, and he's like doing bad stuff there and doing bad stuff in When Calls the Heart. And
Sinclair. Sinclair. Get Sinclair in Hope Valley.
Yes. You know, he can
or Tess.
Yeah, but Tess isn't necessarily a bad person.
She's just sketchy.
She's prickly. Yeah.
For her boy.
Prickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, then you get all the Mounties to like whole gun show and everything. It'll be great.
There you go.
Brian Bird.
We need another gang. We need another gang.
We do.
Yeah. We need a gang like the Tolliver, like the Tolliver gang to come through, and then see there's the problem. There's people's problem with Nathan because he hasn't beat out a gang yet. That's what won Jack over. So let's just get another gang out and have Nathan figure out how to beat them, and everybody will love it.
Yeah.
Well, great segue. Speaking of Nathan, so Nathan, he just, meanders over to the school. No big deal. Lets Elizabeth know he's going out of town. Peace out. Okay, cool.
Okay, whoa. Wait a minute. We cannot ignore the apple. That was so cute. That was such a cute little gesture, and how he hid it under his hat until he brought it out for Allie's favorite teacher. And I loved what she said. Yes, I loved it. Bribing a public official constable.
Yeah.
And then he totally went along with it. Well, not unless you
eat the evidence.
Eat the evidence. No one will find out. Totally played off of each other. It was really cute. It was adorable.
Very cute.
I loved when he walked by Allie and he's like, you haven't left yet? He's like, don't rush me. Yeah.
Okay, did we also notice that he didn't ask Elizabeth to watch Allie this time?
I thought of that too.
She's
staying with Opal, right?
with Opal, so he's getting more integrated into the community. He's getting more comfortable, and he's asked Opal's mother if Allie can go and stay with them, which I think is wonderful for him. And then when he walks out and he passes by Allie, what I saw was, see, I'm leaving. You know, he kind of goes, you know.
He pats her back like.
Yeah, he pats her back and then, so I said, see, I'm leaving, you know.
All right. So, very sweet gesture from Nathan. We give him points here.
And then he had his clenched jaw with his foiled again look. You know, it's like,
oh, poor thing. So Lucas comes to the school. He goes to the school. He and Nathan have a little exchange here, but whatever. We're pushing that one aside. Lucas goes to school. He's not, I mean, this is kind of odd. Why is a saloon owner going to the school in the middle of the day during recess? Well, he has 2 tickets for a reading from Virginia Woolf. And he asks Elizabeth to go with him, in so many words.
And he's so nervous.
It was so cute.
I've never seen him that jittery before. He's got his nervous laugh, you know.
And when she's kind of hesitant, he's like, oh.
I'm sorry I sprung that on you.
Yeah. I'm like, he's so sweet.
And so real tiny quick segue, because this does have to do with this scene. Who in their right mind as a child wants recess to be over?
I know. I was thinking that too. Like, Opal, honey.
like sweet girl. My teacher constantly was like, you know what, our class is bad today, so we're going to get 10 minutes off of recess from our 12-minute recess. So I mean, anytime that we saw our teachers talking to each other on the playground, we were like, keep playing. I remember one time we had a recess for 90 minutes because 2 teachers couldn't stop gabbing.
Oh, and they were my word!
We had extra lunch one time because teacher, like 15 minutes extra lunch.
God.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're like, yes, keep talking. Yes, Mr. Bouchard. Keep buttering her up. We want to play some more.
Isn't recess over? No.
Okay.
Recess is not over.
Can I just put a plug in here? I have a niece who would totally be that person. You know, I've got a very, very organized niece. When my brother and my sister-in-law came to stay with them to take care of them while their parents were going out of town, they walked in, and the first thing that my niece, she was probably 7 or 6. She's a married woman now. But she runs up, gives them a hug, and immediately starts naming off all the things that they can't eat. Immediately starts listing everything. Okay, we can't have this, we can't have this, and we can't. So that would be my niece. That she would say, isn't it time for us to be done with recess? Yeah, that would totally be her.
Don't. And everyone else mad, why'd you say
then everybody else would be like, nah!
Alrighty. So Elizabeth is a bit conflicted. She does want to go, but she doesn't because she's got little Jack to think about. She's
And
got
he totally hooked her with the she's speaking on women in publishing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I just went, oh, you. He got over the nervousness very easily right there. Right there. It was like that's a way to hide it. It's by
hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, hooking her in. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when Elizabeth's talking to Rosemary, she's talking it over whether or not she should go, whether or not she wants to go. The one thing I picked up on is the fact that she can't get over what Nathan thinks. That's always a red flag to me because it's always like
she says that one time. There's Nathan to consider. She says it one time.
Yeah, but it's still
I still think it's a red flag, but
but that's not the first time that she said that. It's always like, oh, like whether it's a look, like I'm dancing with Lucas and then I'm like panning over and I'm like, you know, like it's these gestures, it's the looks, it's sometimes words she'll say, like whenever they're talking and she'll see Nathan in town, even when she's talking to Lucas, her eyes immediately go to Nathan. Like, why do you care so much what he thinks if you don't have?
Well, duh.
Well, I'm just saying, obviously, but for the people who are listening who might be on the fence or on the other side, like thinking about it, she doesn't have that with Nathan. If she's talking to Nathan, she gets awkward around Lucas. When she's talking to Lucas, she starts looking at Nathan. It's just a very weird. I don't know.
I thought that was weird that she brought up Nathan to Rosemary. Like, I have little Jack to consider and Nathan. I'm like,
no, I don't though. I don't, because she has come right out and admitted to Rosemary that her heart is being pulled in two different directions. She's come right out and said it. And so she cares what he thinks, and because she cares about him, and they had an encounter just that morning. And it was a very playful one. Yeah, very playful and very flirty. So, okay, can I just say really quickly that right there at the stagecoach stop, I guess is that what you call it? Where Elizabeth, Rosemary, it's just you're going to tell me, so you might as well.
I do love their friendship.
It's
so fun. So fun.
I was like, because of quarantine, I started watching season 1 again, and seeing like Rosemary come into town, like I just love their dynamic now, and it's just so fun to watch them at the beginning, how like icy it was.
Forced smile.
Yeah.
She would get this forced smile. You could always tell when she was dealing with Rosemary, because she would talk through her teeth.
And season 2 was like that too. Like,
oh yeah, completely.
Go away. So I love their friendship, and Aaron and Pascal play it so well.
They do. So Elizabeth has decided what she's going to do. So she goes to Lucas. And she's
trying so hard to be funny.
Yeah, bless her heart, she wasn't funny.
Poor thing. But she puts Lucas kind of into misery by trying to make it funny. But then she quickly puts him out of his misery, and she says,
"Yay!
Yes!"
And I melted.
Well, and I mean, the big thing was that his nervousness is back. He's like, please have a seat. And then he's kind of, sitting and bending over. And so here you are. It's just,
here I am.
So he's almost shaking. And then, what are your thoughts on Virginia Woolf? And her writing is visionary. And he's like,
I meant about
he's so confused, the poor man. He's like, no, I meant I was trying to be funny. He's so and then he tries to give her an out, like, Elizabeth, if you don't want to go, yes. So
and his
smile was genuinely surprised.
Oh my gosh, he was so happy.
And she was so happy that he was so happy.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
It's true.
And then she got nervous with it. It's not a It's not so I mean the roles completely switched in about a microsecond. First he was nervous and then she said yes and boom, he's on cloud 9, and then she said but he doesn't care that it's quote unquote not a date because he's won. He got her there,
I will escort you however you feel comfortable.
I thought that was brilliant. Well played, my friend. My hat goes off to you.
So
and then when she walks out, he's smiling from ear to ear, and he just can't take his eyes off her.
And she's happy and like runs in the bill.
His smile just falls when when she says Lucas. Sorry, Kaycee, were you going there? Sorry.
Well, kind of. So we get to, so I wanted to skip over to Lucas bringing Elizabeth to where it's Union City, right? So, okay. So my question, this is a nitpick, I'm so sorry, but wearing white and cream, now she looked gorgeous because, Aaron
I thought that was a beautiful travel outfit.
For traveling, it's going to get dirty, and they're sitting in like the dirt with the picnic and everything. That's my whole thing, was like, oh my goodness, I would totally spill everything.
A blanket?
I spill stuff on me when I eat, like
they're drinking coffee too.
Drinking coffee, like dirt. I was just a little like, wow, okay.
He went all out though.
The picnic. Let's just pause there for the picnic. Like he had little macarons and everything, like and flowers.
Lee and Rosemary waving goodbye, and Lee saying through his teeth, "Only one question: who's gonna tell Nathan?" First thing I thought of was the Princess Bride. Bye-bye, boys. Have fun storming the castle. You think it'll work? It'll take a miracle. Bye-bye.
That was so funny.
That was funny.
First thing I thought of when he's talking through his teeth. Who's gonna tell Nathan?
I mean, who is gonna tell Nathan?
It's Allie.
Allie, bless her heart.
No.
And we'll get to Allie in a second. Yeah, we will get to Allie in a second. But Lucas and Elizabeth, he thinks of everything for the picnic. They get to Union City, and they are mistakenly identified as a couple.
A married couple.
Not just a couple, a married
couple.
Okay, when he put his hand down to pick up the plate of macaroons, I so thought he was going to take her hand. I so thought, even the second time I watched it, I forgot about the macaroons, and I thought he was going to take her hand.
I would have died. I would have.
Oh my gosh. I swear he was because he was getting a little sentimental. I really thought you'd enjoy it. And then reaches down like, oh my gosh, is he going to grab her hand?
He was so sweet though about that picnic.
Okay. One thing about that picnic, he said, eccentric people or talented people are often eccentric. You should know. Like, are you complimenting her or insulting her?
She enjoyed that compliment.
I don't know why.
No, okay. Yeah.
I thought it was awkward too. I'm like, dude.
He called her eccentric.
Dude.
I was yes, very odd pickup line. So let's keep going into their engagement activity.
Yeah,
I really thought they were going to see them, a small little cutting of them talking to Virginia Woolf. I don't know. I really thought that was going to be a thing, but instead we see them coming out of their, meeting, discussion, whatever, and they're going to eat or whatever. And they have a very, dare I say, intimate meal.
Ooh,
it felt very intimate.
You may, yes.
Those champagne flukes were beautiful.
They were gorgeous.
It's very fancy. What did we think? Not necessarily like, the the characters or like the actual scene, but like at like deep into their characters themselves and like dissecting the scene. How did y'all feel about the date? Like, what were y'all's thoughts? What did y'all have feelings about?
I had to watch it like 3 or 4 times because I kept squealing during it. I had to hear it like multiple times, but he was so sweet. And like talking about his parents and how they courted for 5 years. And did you see her face when he said 5 years? She's like, it to me is like, oh, what she thought about Jack. Did y'all?
Well, and it's funny because she said, "What took them so long?" I'm like, girl,
girlfriend,
you took that long.
Mountain molasses.
Yeah.
I never heard that. That's funny.
So the other thing that kind of slightly weirded me out is the fact that like he didn't even really know anything. I mean, he obviously knew about Virginia Woolf, but he didn't read her work. But it seemed like he acted like he did. And maybe that's just my perspective, but it kind of seemed like he was acting the part. And I think that's why I wish that I would have seen a scene of him and Elizabeth interacting with Virginia Woolf, because I don't know, the whole time I was thinking that Lucas was also a fan of Virginia Woolf, and he was just as much of a diehard as she was, and that's why he got the tickets, and that's why he wanted to escort her. What we found out instead was he just sought them out just because he knew that she would want to go. And I don't know, for me, and I'm trying to take myself out of the picture of the triangle, and like for me as myself, if I were in that situation, like I don't know that I would appreciate that. Like I would feel like I was led on, or almost not necessarily tricked on this date, but like I don't know.
I did think that he was like a fan, like you said, like, and then when he said that, I'm like, oh, like he purposely did this just for Elizabeth, like, and leaving her.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I felt, is that I did think that he was more of a fan, but I didn't necessarily have a problem with the fact that he wasn't. I went, whoa, yeah, that I did more of that Lucas totally put himself out there in a way that he never has before. I mean, yes, he brought her the flowers, but for Lucas, he bore his soul to her. I mean, he did it very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not
Eloquently?
surreptitiously, not eloquently. He skirted around it. He skirted around it, but but that was very, very forward for Lucas.
What about where he talked about family and like Elizabeth saying,
oh my gosh, she said, I never knew that you wanted to have a family. And then he said, oh, well, I'm in no hurry.
Because they were talking about Hamilton.
Okay. Yeah.
People were all upset about that, like her saying that she did miss some of that part about Hamilton.
Okay.
One line. One stinking comment.
I would love for God to take me out.
Okay.
Let's pause right here for a sec. Friends, hearties, dear ones that listen to this podcast that maybe or may not be on Twitter. We all have our feelings on Lucas, on Nathan, on Jack, on everybody. But y'all, it is a TV show. It is fiction. It is romanticized, extremely romanticized. Therefore, it's not going to be historically accurate. And I mean, by now, if you've been watching since season 1, we all know that, because World War I doesn't even exist. And in saying that, there was a comment or a few people going back and forth about the whole Hamilton thing. All right. Like Kimmy said, one time it was mentioned. And now, have y'all moved ever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've moved too. And I'm a very sentimental person. And like I have had, like, oh yeah, when we used to live such a place, such great memories.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it there and it was fantastic. But that doesn't mean I'm a snooty, uppity person if I came from like the city or anything. It's just a memory. And I feel like that is, everybody critiques and criticizes Elizabeth and her, like these little things. And it's so unnecessary because it's so minute,
And she said in the same sentence, but I have Jack now, and a
And I
perfect
wouldn't
place
want
to raise him. Yeah, like Hope Valley is the place I want to be.
Yeah, she says it in the same breath that after tonight, I do miss it, but I can't imagine raising little Jack anywhere else but Hope Valley. And I went,
and let's be honest, who wouldn't want to be taken to a fancy restaurant wearing fancy clothes and a fancy hotel? I mean, I would. I'd be like, yes.
Drinking champagne.
I thought it was so sweet when you think about where she comes from. And she's asking Rosemary if she can borrow a dress.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's so sweet to me that she really has become not a
Hope Valley woman.
Not a simple school teacher, but she has a much simpler life. And she has become a Hope Valley woman, and she asks her best friend if she can borrow her fanciest dress. She doesn't want the high life. She doesn't want to become a snob. She just missed it a little bit, and she's had a taste of it, and she wants to go back home.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a night out. Who doesn't want to have a night away,
Right, exactly. So let's move on to a different topic, shall we? And kind of on the same lines. Little Miss Allie, we'll go backtrack a little bit. She sees, Elizabeth. She is obviously #Team Nathan. She's a shipper.
Yeah.
She's shipping Elizabeth and Nathan. But she sees Elizabeth and Lucas leave, and she goes to her uncle very awkwardly, and she's basically like, do I need to say something if it's gonna hurt someone?
He's like, just give it to me.
I thought he was gonna say, "What did you do?" I seriously thought that he was going to say, "What did you do? What did you break?" Something like that, because she was acting all guilty with the knowledge that she had. I so thought that he was going to take it another way, and she would say, "Oh, not me." Yeah.
Like the way he leaned back, he's like, just give it to me.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
I feel like at that point he already knew, because everybody was acting really strange around him anyways.
And Rosie and Lee had Jack, and like he's like, you're giving Elizabeth a break. And you're like, oh, she has an engagement.
And then the deer in the headlight Flomo eyes, like,
oh my gosh. Oh, poor Flomo. Poor Flomo.
But here's another thing too. Like, people were just like so mean about Allie telling her uncle. I mean, come on, y'all.
I mean,
like, it's so not necessary.
Well, and I saw a lot of people saying that Nathan was acting like a baby for chopping wood. I'm like, okay, number one, he's chopping wood. He is an official Hallmark hunk now. The man chopped wood, and he did it like a boss.
That's a specific Aaron thing. So
that is a specific Aaron thing. It's a funny Aaron thing. Anyway, but I mean, number one, he likes her. Yes. All right. He likes her. She went on a date with another man. He's allowed to be upset. Is he getting angry? No, he's taking it out on a block of wood very constructively. And he didn't say anything. Bill brought it up.
Can we just go back to, I think it's season 3 episode. No, it's
season 2. Season 3. Season 3, episode 1. The New Year's.
New Year's wish.
Who's chopping
the wood because they are angry and they are slightly jealous that somebody proposed to their girl.
I I think it was Jack.
So
and who was jealous of somebody dancing with another fella in season 1.
and that is going to be my background next week, just to let you know.
I look forward to it.
But like,
yeah.
and,
I didn't think there was anything wrong with him getting his frustration out on the block of wood.
I was team wood chop. Yes.
You know, if Lucas would have gotten out there and chopped some of his own wood, then Caroline would be gone by now. You know?
Well, like I said earlier, Caroline is team Kevin. So
Team Kevin.
I was digging the wood chop.
alrighty, y'all. So let's wrap it up here. We have Lucas and Elizabeth when they return. Nathan and Allie are coming back from fishing, and they're just happy-go-lucky, but then they see them coming back.
Aww.
And then they happen to run into Elizabeth and baby Jack in town. And poor Allie, sweet Allie, just trying to spare her uncle
Go
from
get some ice cream.
from any embarrassment and hurt. And
she's being really tender about this. She can tell that it upsets him, and she doesn't tease him about it. She doesn't talk a lot to Elizabeth about it. She can tell that his feelings.
Well, they're close. They're close. I mean,
I just think it's sweet. I just think it's sweet that she's kind of trying to support her uncle. It's very
let's go get ice cream.
Yeah. It is very sweet. And then we basically end the episode. Not the show, but the episode.
The episode.
Welcome back. That's what didn't you say, like, welcome home? Or is it welcome back?
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Uh-huh.
I mean,
yeah.
That's better than not acknowledging her and walking away.
I thought that's what he was going to do.
I thought he was going to do that, but anyways. So we'll see. As a wise man once said, it is not a race, it is a marathon. As in...
And we'll see who wins in the end, right? Okay, can I just very quickly say where Lucas gets a point, Caroline, when Elizabeth is mistaken for his wife, and he immediately sets the clerk straight. Like, no, this is Mrs. Thornton. And then he says, I booked a suite for her and a single room for myself. I went, oh, dude. Yep. You do it right. You do it right.
And then he's like, honest mistake. Like,
yeah. He made a joke afterwards, but to the clerk, he was not going to have any lines crossed. Yeah. And when he said his just because, the first words that came out of my mouth were, you dog. Those were the first words that came out of my mouth. He had a lot of going everywhere in this episode. And Nathan went out of town,
he was bringing his A game
that much. You really, Nathan wasn't in it a lot. And Lucas took advantage of Nathan's absence. Did you notice how he was always looking at his watch? Lucas seems to be a very organized, timely. He lets loose once in a while, but in a very formal manner. He's very, very formal.
He is surprisingly formal. You're right.
He's very formal, and he's always looking at his watch. Like, I hate to rush you. And he knocks on the door and then opens his watch. I'm just like, dude, put the watch away. You're going to make her nervous. I just want to know. I want to know what they talked about in the car. Because you got a long drive to Union City. So what do you talk about?
Yeah,
what do you talk about on the way up? And on the way back, I think it was a little bit more comfortable. But when he pulled over to the side for the picnic, she's still sitting like a scarecrow on a pole. She looks so nervous.
Do we think we'll see a date scene with Nathan? Do we think that since we had date scene with Lucas?
Okay, I don't know about a date, but after watching the preview for next week, I bet you anything Nathan saves her life somehow, or he saves her. And so that's what it looked like to me. And so Lucas gets the first date, but it looks like, first impression, of course, but it looks like Nathan's gonna save her life.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like kids have been rescued, Elizabeth is missing type of situation.
That's what it looked like, and he's yelling out her name, and it's windy. Yeah. So I don't know.
I'm excited.
But it looks like next week's episode is going to be very Nathan heavy. This one was very, very Lucas heavy. And now next week, I think once again they're doing their whole even balance thing. They go back and forth. So
teeter-totter.
It totally is.
All right, y'all. So that has been, once again, as I said earlier, another roller coaster of an episode. All right, y'all. It's been fun. Where can people find you guys on the socials?
You can follow me on Twitter at MetaCarolineR.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Cami Drama Girl. Cami spelled Kami. On Facebook, it's the Hooked Hardy Facebook page. And my blog is hookedhardy.com.
And you can find me at Hallmark My Words on Twitter. You can also find the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod on Twitter, at Hallmarkies Podcast on Instagram. Check out our merch shop. Check out our Patreon group because we do have that, and we have lots of fun perks for you guys. We also have lots of team shirts in the merch store. So if you are Team Coulter, Team Jack Senior, that is the OG, Team Nathan, Team Lucas, Team Elizabeth, whoever you want, you can get a shirt from us. Team Hickam,
don't forget
Team
Hickam.
Gallon. Anybody. And if they're not there, I even have a Flomo shirt for you Flomo fans out there.
Boy.
But hey, you know what? If you don't see your team on there, like if you are a Team Fiona girl and you just, or guy, whoever you are, let me know. We'll make it happen.
She'll fix it. Kaycee will fix it.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Have a happy, hearty week.
Woo!
Bye.